Chosen One, August 8th. God says it's your turn. Listen. There's something about divine timing that can't be manipulated, rushed, or reasoned with. It arrives not when you beg for it, but when you're aligned enough to receive it. And Chosen One, that moment, is here. August 8th. This is not a random date. This is a marker in your destiny. A sacred appointment that was written long before your worries, long before your questions. And if you're watching this now, it's not by chance. It's because heaven is whispering directly to your spirit. It's your turn. Before we dive deeper into what this truly means, take a moment to breathe and align. Look beyond the noise of your day, the weight of your past, the distractions pulling you off course. In the comments, write your most heartfelt wish, the one you've carried in silence, the one you've held sacred in your heart. Seal it with 777, not for views or attention, but for energy, for alignment, for releasing your intent into the unseen. Because when the chosen speak in faith, the heavens move in power. Now, Chosen One, like this video, subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel, and let's begin. Now understand this. What's happening isn't just about one day. It's about your entire spiritual landscape shifting. There are moments when God moves subtly, and then there are times when the shift is undeniable. This is one of those moments. August 8th has been set aside for divine announcements, and what God is declaring over your life is this. The waiting is over. The silence has spoken. The wilderness has taught you. And now the river is flowing in your direction. This is the hour where you must drop your doubt like old garments that no longer fit. You are not the same person you were last year, last month, or even last week. You've been transformed through trials, tears, silence, and breakthroughs. You've walked through valleys and stood in storms that tried to break your voice. But look at you, still here, still believing, still chosen. God has not forgotten your obedience. Heaven has recorded your resilience. And now, your faith is being rewarded, not with noise, not with applause, but with movement. Spiritual movement. Opportunities opening like unseen doors. People being positioned in your path. Delays being reversed. Blockages being removed. Not because you forced it, but because you waited for the right moment. And that moment is now. You've spent so long preparing in silence that you almost forgot what forward momentum feels like. But it's here and it's powerful. Don't miss it because you're trying to make sense of it. Some blessings don't need to be understood. They need to be embraced. Trust the divine rhythm. You're in it now. Let it carry you. This is also the moment to get incredibly honest with yourself. Who have you been carrying out of guilt, not love? What have you been holding on to out of fear, not alignment? The shift of August 8th doesn't allow for spiritual clutter. If it drains you, release it. If it delays you, detach. This isn't about being cold, it's about being clear. God is not calling the cluttered. He's calling the clear. And if you want to walk in your divine moment, you must be willing to be brave in your boundaries. You are stepping into divine territory now. What used to make you anxious will soon become your testimony. What once felt like a burden will become your breakthrough. This isn't positive thinking. This is prophetic movement. The kind that rearranges atmospheres and silences every lie spoken against your future. The kind that only God can orchestrate, and only the chosen can recognize. So now, pause and breathe. Let the noise of everything fade for a moment, because what you're stepping into is not just the continuation of your life, it's the unveiling of a higher assignment. You've crossed into divine territory, and in this space, ordinary rules no longer apply. Delays don't hold authority here. Fear doesn't make decisions here. You are walking in God's rhythm now, and it's unlike anything you've known before. There's a reason you've been feeling the pull, the shift, the tension between where you were and where you're going. It's because your soul already knows what your mind is still trying to process. The moment you stopped living for the approval of others and started listening to the whispers of your spirit, the doors began to open. Slowly, silently, but surely. Your calling is not something that will explode overnight. It unfolds layer by layer, moment by moment. You are being sculpted by silence, sharpened by solitude, strengthened by stillness. Don't mistake this slow rise for stagnation. The most powerful growth always happens underground, away from the applause, away from the eyes, in the sacred hiddenness where only you and God exist. Some people will wonder why you seem so different lately, why you're pulling away, why you're quieter, softer, more watchful. They'll assume it's distance. But it's discernment. They'll think you've changed. And you have. Because now you understand that not everyone can go where you're going. Not everyone has the capacity to see what you're seeing. This is not arrogance. This is awareness. And in this awareness, there is a responsibility to move intentionally, to speak truthfully, to carry your presence like a vessel of light, even when the room is dark. Because you're no longer just living for yourself. You've been chosen to carry something sacred. And every step you take from this moment forward is a declaration. I'm ready. But readiness isn't about having everything figured out. It's about surrendering the illusion of control. It's about saying, even if I'm afraid, I'll move anyway. Even if I don't know the outcome, I trust the one guiding me. That's where your power is, in your surrender, in your trust, in your willingness to follow the signal without needing to understand the entire map. On August 8th, that divine signal is being sent. Not as a loud crash, but as a quiet confirmation. A moment, a message, a shift in energy. And only the attuned will notice. That's you. You're being called to look beyond the obvious, to see with your spirit, not your eyes. Because your blessing might not look like what you imagined, but it will feel like peace. It will feel like home. And when that sign arrives, don't question it. Don't dismiss it. Receive it. Bless it. Move with it. God doesn't need your perfection. He needs your participation. He needs your yes. Not when it's convenient, but when it's crucial. And beloved, this is one of those moments. You've waited long enough. You've doubted long enough. Now it's time to believe that it wasn't for nothing. The heartbreaks, the closed doors, the lonely nights, the moments you prayed and heard nothing but silence. All of it was preparation. All of it was positioning you for now. So declare it, breathe it, walk in it. You're not behind. You're not late. You're right on time. The divine signal of August 8th has been released, and your spirit already knows how to respond. And now, it's no longer about waiting for the right moment. It's about realizing that the moment is already here. You've stepped into sacred timing. This isn't about chasing signs anymore. This is about becoming the sign. The evidence of what happens when someone refuses to give up. When someone chooses to trust, when it doesn't make sense. When someone answers the call without needing a guarantee, you are walking proof of transformation. Not because it's all perfect, not because you have all the answers, but because you kept going. You kept rising, even when you were tired, even when your heart was heavy, even when everything in your life seemed to say, "Stop." Something deep within you whispered, "Keep going." And that voice, that whisper, that was divine. People will ask how you got here, how things started shifting, and you'll smile, not out of pride, but out of reverence, because you'll know it wasn't strategy, it was surrender. It wasn't hustle, it was harmony. It wasn't force, it was flow. You aligned, you stopped resisting, you let go, and heaven responded. This is not just a good season. This is a divine setup, a sacred intersection where who you were and who you are becoming finally meet. You're standing at the gateway of your becoming. This isn't the end of your story. It's the beginning of the chapter where everything changes. Where things that used to scare you now excite you. Where things that used to break you now build you. But don't be surprised if it comes with pressure. Elevation always does. The higher you go, the thinner the air. That's why so few make it. Because elevation demands focus. It demands clarity. It demands that you let go of weight you were never meant to carry. This season will ask you to release people, habits, thoughts, and timelines that no longer serve your future. And that's not punishment. That's preparation. You're not being punished. You're being purified. You're not being delayed. You're being defined. The resistance you feel is not rejection. It's redirection. You're not being tested to break you. You're being tested to build you. And every time you say yes to alignment, yes to truth, yes to growth, you shift the entire trajectory of your life and everyone connected to you. You were never just meant to survive this life. You were meant to shape it, shift it, bring light where there's darkness, bring clarity where there's confusion, bring healing where there's hurt. That's why your presence matters. That's why your obedience matters. That's why your story is sacred. So don't shrink now. Don't play small to make others comfortable. Don't apologize for your clarity. Don't dim your light to protect someone else's insecurity. You are not too much. You are not too intense. You are not too passionate. You are exactly as you're meant to be, bold, aware, powerful, chosen. And even when your path feels lonely, remember, it's not empty. God fills it. Purpose fills it. Legacy fills it. And that sacred loneliness, it's not isolation, it's insulation. You're being kept. You're being covered. You're being prepared. Because when your moment fully arrives, and it's closer than you think, you won't just walk into it. You'll carry the authority to shift every room you enter. Chosen one, don't question your preparation. Don't second-guess your growth. You didn't come this far to stop now. You came this far to rise, to build, to speak, to shift atmospheres with your voice, your vision, your vibration. You're no longer here just to witness the move of God. You are the move of God. And when August 8th fully opens before you, don't stand at the edge hoping something will happen. Walk into it like it already has. Walk into it like you're home. Walk into it like heaven sent you. Because it did. Because it always has. You don't need more time. You need more trust. The hesitation you feel isn't because you're unqualified. It's because you've been conditioned to doubt yourself, to second-guess what you already know. But not anymore. This part of your story requires you to move in bold faith, not fear, to walk like someone who has seen behind the veil, because you have. That tug in your chest, that pressure in your spirit, that's not confusion. That's confirmation. You've outgrown the room you were in, and it's starting to feel tight. You've been faithful in the small, and now the expansion feels intimidating. But here's the truth. You were built for expansion. You were made to stretch. You were designed to break limits. And even though the unknown feels risky, it's also where revelation lives. You're not walking away from comfort. You're walking toward calling. Don't wait for perfection. Move with permission. You have heaven's green light. And no, you don't need everyone to understand. You don't need consensus. You don't need approval from the crowd. What you need is consistency with the voice within. The divine compass that has never lied to you, never abandoned you, never misled you. August 8th isn't just a day. It's a moment, a divine appointment, a sacred invitation into deeper trust, deeper clarity, deeper purpose. If your life feels like it's being restructured right now, that's because it is. The shaking is not to break you, it's to awaken you. And once awakened, you can't go back to sleep. Not spiritually, not emotionally, not mentally. You've seen too much, felt too much, grown too much. And now, it's time to start living like it. There are doors opening right now that you've prayed for, cried for, fasted for. But they require a version of you that is present, not distracted, not hesitant, not hiding. The gift you've been given is not random. It's strategic. You were chosen not just to receive the blessing, but to carry the weight of it with integrity. So prepare your environment. Speak life into your space. Clear out what no longer reflects your elevation. Remove clutter, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually too. You cannot build your future in a space full of residue from your past. Clean it, clear it, bless it, and move forward. Stop telling the old story. You're not that person anymore. Stop entertaining the old patterns. They don't fit you anymore. Stop replaying the old wounds. They don't hold power anymore. You're not trying to be healed. You already are. You're not waiting to be called. You've already been chosen. You're not asking for permission. You've already been anointed. And here's what happens when you own that truth. Alignment accelerates. What once took years begins to shift in days. What once felt impossible begins to flow with ease. Not because the journey is easy, but because you are no longer resisting the direction. You're no longer sabotaging your own progress. You're no longer arguing with God about the assignment. You've accepted it. And with that acceptance comes authority. Speak differently. Think differently. Move differently. You are not like everyone else. You've seen behind the curtain. You've heard things in the quiet. You've felt things that words can't express. That's not imagination. That's revelation. And you have to honor it. If your circle shrinks in this season, let it. If your path narrows, embrace it. This is not the time to gather noise. This is the time to anchor in clarity. The divine doesn't shout, it whispers. And only those who've trained themselves to hear will recognize the direction. That's you. That's who you are now. Chosen one, This is your turn, your divine moment. You don't have to compete. You don't have to beg. You don't have to chase. What's yours is magnetized to your obedience. And when you honor the pull, the promise meets you in motion. So keep moving. Keep listening. Keep showing up. You've made it this far not by chance, but by quiet obedience. Every step you took, especially the ones that made no sense, were building something sacred beneath the surface. You didn't always see the fruit immediately. Sometimes it felt like you were walking blindfolded. But your spirit knew, heaven knew, and now the harvest is aligning with your history. You're not being rewarded just for surviving. You're being acknowledged for how you held on during the storm. The world saw silence, but the divine saw strength. The nights you cried alone, the mornings you showed up anyway, the prayers you whispered when you had no words, the forgiveness you offered when you were bleeding inside. All of it mattered. All of it was recorded. None of it was wasted. And now, it's your turn. But here's the secret. This turn won't feel like fireworks. It'll feel like alignment. Things will start clicking. People will show up with keys you didn't ask for. Opportunities will unfold where there was once only waiting. Conversations will confirm what you've been sensing. It'll be quiet, but clear. Soft, but certain. You'll know. Because this time, it's not about the world recognizing you. It's about you recognizing yourself. And you've changed. The old you would have doubted this moment, would have tried to shrink, would have questioned, sabotaged, or delayed. But not this version. This version of you has scars that turned into seals of authority. You've been through too much to downplay what's being offered now. You're no longer asking, why mate? You're saying, of course me. Because the assignment isn't random. The calling isn't accidental. It was knit into your bones before you were born. This part of your journey is not about seeking validation. It's about stepping into embodiment, becoming the version of you that your younger self used to dream about, the version that chooses peace without guilt, the version that walks away from chaos without apology, the version that says yes to alignment even when it costs comfort. You are no longer just surviving your days. You're shaping them. And that requires a different kind of discipline, a different kind of devotion. You must now become fiercely protective of your time, your energy, your atmosphere. Not because you're better than anyone, but because you are finally aligned with who you were born to be. You cannot carry this frequency in spaces that drain you. You cannot carry this light in atmospheres that dim you. You cannot carry this anointing with people who dishonor your growth. So say goodbye to what must go. Say thank you to what taught you, and say yes to what's arriving. This Friday is not just a date, it's a doorway. And you're being handed the key, not because you begged for it, not because you performed perfectly, but because you were faithful in silence. You trusted in the dark. You kept going, even when your knees were shaking. And that kind of faith, it moves heaven. So breathe, chosen one. The signal has been sent. The shift is underway. You're not late. You're right on time. Every setback prepared the soil, and every tear watered the roots. Now, rise.